I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to work on optimizing our website for tablet and mobile. So let's go ahead and jump into the Pixel Perfect Builder and we'll start working on that. So you've got a couple choices when you're working on your website. You can choose to edit the tablet and mobile version, or you can set it up so the desktop version shows on tablet and mobile and you won't have to edit those versions. So let's take a look at how to set it up so that the desktop version is delivered to tablet and mobile. To do that, you just click the double gears, you go to platform settings, and where it says tablet mode, you choose no, and for mobile mode, you choose no, and then you click save. And I want you to notice that over here at the top, our desktop, tablet, and mobile icons disappeared. That means the only mode you're going to be able to edit is desktop mode. But if you want to edit your tablet and mobile to show exactly what you want to show them and make it a little bit different than the desktop, then you can edit those modes by going to the double gears, platform settings, and setting the tablet to yes and mobile to yes, and then clicking save. And that brings those icons back at the top left-hand side. So let's start working on the tablet mode, and we'll see if we can optimize this for tablets. So I'm going to click on the tablet, and everything is kind of jumbled up, as you can see. And I'm going to use that backlight to be able to see it a little bit better, everything that's on my screen. And we have a wrench here at the top left-hand side. This wrench actually allows you to move everything over, and it does the best that it can to make it look like the desktop. So I'm going to click the wrench, and I'm going to click Copy Desktop. And when I click that, it's going to take all of the elements and copy everything over from the desktop. So we've got some work to do to get this ready. So before I do anything, I'm going to check my desktop view, and I'm going to make sure everything is the way I want it. Nothing is moved out of place. And then I'm going to go back to the top, and I'm going to click Save. And then Save again. Many times when you're working on tablet or mobile, you can make a change and it will directly affect the desktop. And if that happens, you can just click refresh and not save, and it will refresh the website and you'll go back to the last point of save. So if everything looks great, click save, and now let's start editing our tablet. So this is the header area. If I right click it, you can see its header. Then I have to add my elements in there. So I'm going to add this in here, add the fruit stand in there. Let's go ahead and make this smaller. We'll make this one smaller. And this one smaller. And we'll drag these over. And the social media bar, and then this is a burger menu. So that should be everything we want in the header. So I'm going to click and drag this up. And we'll start adding these in. So maybe we can do these a little bit differently than what's on the regular page. Go here. Here. And here. So there's not quite enough room to do it like we have on the regular page. So we'll just do it like this. And the social media bar there, and we'll put the burger menu right there, and then we'll drag this up. Great. So we've changed it quite a bit from the desktop. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if anything's changed on the desktop. to make sure that we're not affecting the desktop at all. So I'm going to go back to desktop, and nothing has changed. So we're doing really good. I'm going to go back to tablet, and I'm going to save the changes that we've done so far. Now I've got the next section to work with, but I'm going to do my home anchor menu right there. The next section I'm going to drag up and put it right below the header. And now I've got some text that I need to work with, so I can leave that the way it is. I can expand this. I'm going to pull this down a bit, pull this up a bit, and now we've got our button. I'm going to stretch that out a bit and change the size. So now we've got it a little bit better, but that text probably needs to be just a little bit smaller. So whenever we're working with text, especially on the tablet versus the desktop version, we need to customize the text. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to customize, and I'm going to change the size of the font a bit. So we'll set it to about there. That looks good. So we changed that size a little bit, and we're going to go here and we'll make this a little bit smaller, just like this, and then we'll do the button. So that looks a little bit better for the tablet version, and then I'm going to move this anchor point down. And we've got our location banner that is way, way high, so we're going to click and drag that down. And then this banner right here needs to come up. So we'll pull it up all the way up to here. So now we need to work on this banner. So I'm going to move this banner down. Great. And we're definitely going to have to change some size of the text. So let me move these anchor points out of the way. And I can right click and go to customization, and we'll make this text a little bit smaller. Great. Move that right there. Bring that picture up, just like that. And now we need to change this text size. So I'm going to right click and go to customization. We'll change that size. And we'll draw this in, just like this. So now you can see we're making changes that are going to look good on the tablet, but it's definitely going to be a little bit different than the desktop. So I'm going to right click this, I'm going to make it customization, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Then I had another paragraph down here that we'll bring in, and this one needs to be a lot smaller, so we'll go to customization and we'll make it smaller. And now I'm going to make this, I'm going to bring it in and put it underneath the image. So we're doing a design that's similar to what's on the desktop, but we're resizing it for the tablet. So now that section looks pretty done. So we'll close up that banner a little bit, and now we'll go to the next section. So here's the next section. I'm going to click and drag it up, put it to the bottom of the previous section. And this one looks like I could probably leave that size, put that right there. May have to bring it in a bit, just like this. And we're going to have to expand this. So I'm going to move my map down again. That map is just in the way. And let's look at the original, because I think that I need to make sure that it's in the right order. So let's look at desktop. Okay, so that's definitely the next section. So we'll go back to tablet. And we will pull this section down and out of the way. And that's revealing our numbers to us, which is great. So we'll click and drag those boxes up here, and click and drag that box up there, click and drag that box up there. We'll move the anchor point out of the way, And let's go ahead and change the size of this banner. So we have plenty of room. Good. And now we're going to start moving these elements here, the numbers. So I'll put this one here, and we'll put that right underneath it. And this one here, we'll put that right underneath it. And I'm going to make sure this goes on 2 lines. And then this one here goes right underneath it. And we'll make sure it goes on 2 lines. And then the last one, the 100%, it's really big. And satisfaction rate, and we'll make sure that goes on 2 lines. And let's go ahead and move this guy over a bit, this guy over a bit. And now we've actually done a pretty good job of putting that in there. So that's the next one. So again, we're going to jump to desktop, make sure that we haven't changed anything dramatically. So there we go. Everything looks like it's still in the right place. So I'm going to go back to tablet, and I'm going to click save and save again. And now we'll go to the next section, which is the what we do section. I'm going to click and drag it up. Great. And now we're going to center this. And now we've got a pretty big challenge to get all of these images in here. So I need to drag this banner out of the way to reveal all of the images and the text. And let's see if we can set it up the way we want it. So here we've got a box. Inside that box we've got our images. So let me move this box out of the way so I've got plenty of room to work with the first box. There we go. And I'm going to find this box and pull it in. Then I'm going to find this box and pull it in. And then we'll see if there's plenty of room for them to be all beside each other on the same screen. Ooh, there's barely enough room. So let's go ahead and align everything first. So we'll get our boxes aligned. There we go. The titles look fine to me, but the next issue is definitely this paragraph. So we're going to have to change the size of the paragraphs. So I'm going to pull that in. Then I'm going to pull that one in. And I'm going to pull that one in. If I can find the end of it. We'll just do it this way. Close it in a bit and line it back up. And then grab it and pull. And then we'll move that up a little, move that one up a little, move that one up a little. And then the box size needs to be a little bit bigger to cover everything. This box size needs to be a little bit bigger. And this box size needs to be a little bit bigger. And this box size needs to be a little bit bigger. All right, so that's doing pretty well, pulling everything up and aligning it and making sure that the everything looks the way we want it. So we got that box done, and it does take a little bit when you're working with tablet and mobile, but we got that one done. So let's move the next one up. So here we go. We'll move this one up. I think the banner itself, let's see. The banner itself is right there. We'll move that down. Make sure we got plenty of space. Great. And then this one, the box, I'm going to pull that box up and put it center like that. And we're just going to do the same thing we did with this one down on the second box. So I'm going to find the boxes and move them up and align them as best I can. And we'll find this box and move it up and align as best we can. And then we'll make these paragraphs smaller. We'll have to move this out again so we can see that little handle to pull it in. All right, so we're doing good so far. All right, so now I'm going to align everything again to make sure that it's exactly aligned the way I want it. So there's my titles and then my paragraphs. And then I'm going to click the box and make that box bigger. Click the box here and make it a little bit bigger. And click the box here and make it a little bit bigger. And then the big box, we'll make that big enough to accommodate all three of those images. So now we've actually made all those exactly the way we want them. And let me go ahead and click the banner and drag it up so we can serve space. Perfect. And now we'll do the next banner, which is this one right here. So I'm going to click and drag that up. Perfect. And we can actually move the contact us stuff down. Get that out of the way so we can find our other stuff that we need for this one. So we've got this right here and we've got the quote. So let's go ahead and resize this. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to customization and we'll make it large but not quite this large. So let's slide it. There we go. And then this box right here, we're going to right click and go to customization and we'll slide that one as well. And we'll make it about this size. And we'll close it in a bit. There we go. So like our service. And we'll put that underneath it. I think this needs to be a little bit smaller. So we'll right click and go to customization. We'll make it a little bit smaller. Great. And now we can work on this button. And we'll go wider and just like that. Close it in a little bit. And there we go. So now we've got like our service and get a free quote, which is fantastic. And now we'll work on the next section, which is a contact us. We'll move that up. And we'll move the map down. The map is just in the way. And then this box right here, if you remember, that was our text box that we used to set up our text in the very beginning. So I'm going to right click that and go to hide. We definitely don't need that. And now for the contact us area, I'm going to just center everything and center the form and make the form a little bit bigger. Looks like we've got a rogue box here. So I'm going to hide that. That was another thing that we used. Oh, nope, we got to unhide it because it grabbed a couple things with it. So let's see, that we'll unhide. It grabbed our form with it. So let's put our form on this box. And now we can take this box and hide it. Good. So now let's put the form underneath here and make our banner a little bit bigger. So that's actually finished. And now I can go to location and pull that up. I'm going to center that and we'll make the banner bigger. This is a box that we don't need, so I'm going to right click and go to hide. And we'll make the banner a little bit taller to accommodate the map. And it looks like we're doing great. We need to work now on the footer. So let's click and drag the footer up. Great, great. I'm going to hide the show hidden elements and start moving over elements here. So we can resize this a little bit so it's not quite so big. Put that under there. Maybe do this. And then this goes right here. We've got our information, including contact us. You can put that right there. Menu. The menu is probably going to be a burger menu, so we'll kind of move that out of the way. Email subscription, we'll put right there. That right there. There's our email field, so we'll put that right there. The share bar, and there's our burger menu. So we'll kind of put this right here, and then our share. Put this more centered, and we'll put our burger menu there. And then this one we can just hide because we don't need it. And now we can move our footer up. And that looks fabulous. So let's go ahead and check everything and see what it looks like. There's our header, section, 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 section. So now let's check desktop to make sure we didn't mess up the desktop. So there's our desktop. Everything should be as it was. We didn't change anything. Looks great. So I'm going to go back to tablet mode, and I'm going to click save. So save and save again. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my anchor points where they belong. So there's the home anchor. There is the about us anchor. Location goes down towards the bottom. Services goes down. So services goes right here. Location goes right here. There we go. And contact us goes up here. So that's fabulous. Let's click save and then save again. And now we're actually done with the tablet view. It took a little bit and we had to go back and forth a little bit, but we do have our tablet view ready. So let's go back to desktop, make sure everything's looking good. Perfect. I'm going to click save just because I can and because save is my friend. And now I'm going to go start working on the mobile view. And the mobile is going to be really similar to the tablet. So what I'm going to do is bounce into mobile. I'll make a few changes and then bounce into desktop and tablet to make sure that none of those changes affected desktop or tablet. So let's go into mobile. And remember that I changed the backlight so I can see everything really well. That's important because when you're working on the mobile version, it is really hard to see. Everything's really small. So I'm going to go ahead and move this icon over, but I'm going to, or logo, but I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I don't need it quite that big. And then I need to make a decision on mobile. Do I really want to show all of this information when it is in the footer? Do I want to show it at the top of the mobile version? And I think my answer is no. The only one I want to do is the burger menu. So I want to do it like this. And then all of these other elements I'm just going to hide because I think I'm choosing to not put them on the mobile view. So I'm going to just right click each one of them and choose the eyeball with the slash in it. So I'm hiding all of those. And now I'm going to click on here and drag it up. And that is my simple, very simple mobile version. Okay, here's our little box that we just were using to do some things in editing. I'm going to right click that and go to hide. And then here's our text that we use. I'm going to right click that and go to hide. And here is the header color and information. I'm going to right click that and hide because I don't need any of those. There's all my anchor points. I'll have to move them a few times probably. So the next thing we need to do is that next section that has the picture of the raspberries. So I'm going to click and drag that in. And then I'm going to move it up to the very top. And I'm going to put it right up against the header, just like that. And now I've got a lot of work to do to get, I'm going to move my anchor points out of the way. And I got work to do to get everything to look the way I want it to look. So what I may do is click this wrench, and I may choose copy desktop, and that's going to resize some things so it fits better on the screen. So I'm going to copy desktop, and it's thinking. And what it's done for me is it's taken all those desktop elements and resized them so that they fit a little bit better on the mobile. So you can see now that everything's kind of fitting a little bit better, but it still respected the fact that I changed that header for me. So we now have the this section right here, and I'm going to move these out of the way so that they don't get in the way. There we go. Move this one right here as well. So this section, I'm going to pull it up to make sure it's underneath, right underneath the header. And then we've got little bitty text, and our button looks tremendously big, right? So when we resize this button, we can drag it to resize it, but to change the text, it would end up changing the desktop version. And I don't like this button there. So I can either choose to keep it there and then affect this button, or I can hide it. I think what I'm going to do is hide it. So I'm going to right click it and I'm going to hide it. And then I've got this text right here. I think I'm just going to put that right underneath there, just like that. Then I've got this section, and this section there's a lot of text on there, and it is stretched beyond the section. So if I pull down, you see there's a lot more text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all stretch this section because it's not quite long enough to make sure the banner's long enough. And then I'm going to right click and go to customization. And for line spacing, I'm going to pull that down some. Let's see if we can see it happening. There we go. So now you see that the text is closer together. But the size of the font, I may go up 1. Oh, we'll go back down to 7. That was a good size. So now the size is doing a lot better and the spacing is doing a lot better. So I can actually grab this font and customize. And I'm going to go to spacing again and make it smaller because there's just too much spacing in between those words. Then there's our image. And then I'll go here and right click in customization and go down to a smaller spacing again. Because those words, the lines need to be closer together. So I picked about a 7. Now I can put that at the bottom. And there we go. Everything's lining up a lot better. I'm going to have to do the spacing on this as well. So I'm going to right click and go to customize and change this to 7 and see if that looks better. And it absolutely does. So we'll put that right there. Fabulous. Now I'm going to pull this section up. And we'll make this banner smaller and pull this up to the very bottom. Perfect. And I'm going to move this section out of the way because we have a lot of work to do here. This area is way too big. And if I right click it and change the appearance and change the size, it's going to change the size on the desktop because this element is tied to the one that's on the desktop. So I have a few choices. I can either create new elements with the correct sizes and have them only for the mobile view, or I can just take this banner off of the mobile view. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Instead of take the time to make this smaller and make it work for me, I'm just going to take this whole banner. There's no anchor point to it. There's nothing that is terribly important that I show. So I'm just going to delete it. and it automatically hid it for me. Let's jump into our desktop view and make sure that everything's looking like it's supposed to. So far, we've still got everything set up the way we need it to be. So I'm going to go back to mobile, and we'll work on the next section, which is the what we do section, and I'm just going to click and drag that. And the system did a great job of setting it up so that everything looks beautiful. So I don't think I'm going to have to make any changes there. So then the next section is the like our service section, and I'm going to drag all this down so we have plenty of space. And for this one, it did a really good job on the text, but again, the button is crazy. So I'm going to right click and go to hide on the button. And then the text right here, I need to change the line spacing. So I'm going to right click and go to customization, and we'll change it to 7. And then kind of pull it down a little bit. So that looks a little bit better. And now we need our button. So I'm going to go ahead and do plus, and I'm going to choose button, and I'm going to just choose this button here. It's a basic button. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to type in get a quote. And I'll change it to the green that we want. So go to appearance and the color of the background and change it to green. And now I can actually resize it to what I want it to be on the mobile, because it's a completely different button than what's on the desktop. So you can see that I can stretch it out just a little bit to create some space between the text and put it exactly where I want it. So I think that looks great. Maybe I'll right click it and change the size of the text. I'll go to appearance and font and change that a little bit, and then resize that button just a little bit so that it fits in that space. There we go. So that looks a lot better. So I'm happy with that banner. Now we need to go to the contact us, and we'll move the location down. Great. So now this one, the text looks fine, and the form is actually huge. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of click and drag it to let it take up all that space. And then we'll leave it just like that so they can fill that form out right there on their mobile. And then location, we're going to drag that up. And then we're going to expand it so that it covers the entire map. And then the last one is the footer. We're going to drag that up, and we're going to start working on putting our elements in the footer. So I'm going to put this element in there. And then this one I don't think I need, so I'm going to hide. This one we may want to put at the bottom. This one, let's go ahead and hide it. Hide this one. Hide the word menu. We'll think about the email subscription. Yeah, let's go ahead and add it. Let's do it. We'll do that right there. And add that in right there. And then we can have the burger menu. Actually, let's put the burger menu right here. And we'll do this up here. Now, one thing that I want to tell you is that the email subscription looks like it should be centered here, but if I center it, then it will change the desktop. So I'm just not going to center it. I'm going to do my social media icons. I'll do my copyright. We will hide this paragraph, and we'll center this one to make sure it's in the center like it's supposed to be. And now I'll go to the bottom of the footer, and I'll click and drag it up to close up that space. And go a little bit down. There we go. So on this fruit shop, I think I'm going to move it over just a little. And then we'll center this. And now we've got our footer done. So we've got every element in there, and we need to make sure that we put the anchor points in there. So this one's the About Us. So I believe that went right there. And then Home needs to go all the way to the top. And Services needs to go right here. And Contact Us needs to go all the way down here. And then we have one more location. Location is in the right place. And everything looks great. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to copy this quote button and I'm going to put it right there. And now we've got our quote button there, just exactly like we have in the desktop. And I think that looks really, really good. So let me check the desktop and the tablet to make sure everything has stayed the way I want it. So here's the desktop. All right, so desktop's looking great. Now let's look at tablet. And tablet looks fabulous. So let's take a look again at mobile. And mobile is exactly like we configured. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then save again. And now I've got my desktop version done, my tablet version done, and my mobile version done. So now we need to work on a little bit of SEO. So I'll see you in the next video.